You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. I'm your host, Andre Cherry, back for another very special episode. This will probably be the last episode I record for the 7th season of the CherryPickin podcast. Can you believe that? 7 seasons of the CherryPickin podcast. We just keep on rolling, baby. We keep on rolling. Hopefully we're rolling to season 8 next year, and I'll talk a little bit more about the future plans for this show, but definitely appreciate you downloading the episode if you've been with me all this time. And I definitely want to be one of the last people to wish you a happy new year. We are now in the 14th of January. I'm recording this episode from my CherryPickin Studios office, and happy New Year's. I mean, this is the first podcast I'm recording and releasing in 2025. I feel like 2024 flew by in the blink of an eye. This college football season flew by in the blink of an eye, and it always does that every single year. I can't get enough college football, and I appreciate you if you're listening to this podcast as a college football fan or just someone that likes good content. I appreciate you stumbling on my little podcast, the CherryPickin podcast, and we'll have a fun episode today. And I'm just shooting from the hip, really. I mean, this is just straight off the cuff. I've got a little bit of a rough outline, but I just want to get on the podcast and talk to you all one last time for this season and just talk about some of the topics that are kind of hot right now. And certainly the hottest topic I'd have to say right now in college football is Coach Prime potentially going to the NFL, where he may have a chance to coach the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most historic franchises in all of professional football, in my opinion. There are a few brands that are bigger than Dallas Cowboys. Maybe you could say New England. You could say the Steelers, the Chicago Bears, certainly an historic franchise. But the Dallas Cowboys are right up there. Like, they're right up in the mix. They may be the brand that everyone associates with the NFL, or at least they did in the past. I've been one who has learned to never doubt Deion Sanders. He is a winner wherever he goes. In his second year at Colorado, he got the Buffs to a 9-4 record and back to a bowl game. Now, this transformation came after he inherited a team at the end of the 2022 season where the Buffaloes saw only one victory that year compared to 11 losses. So they went 1-11 that season before the administration turned it over to Deion Sanders. He got the keys to the car, and he didn't crash it. He really didn't. Coach Prime helped the team improve to 4 wins in 2023, which is a pretty good improvement after only going 1-11 the year prior, followed by a 9-4 campaign this season, where, like I said, the Buffaloes went to a bowl game again for the first time in 4 years, and that was the COVID year. And it was their first time posting 9+ wins in about 8 seasons. So the turnaround is remarkable. You can't understate what Deion Sanders has done for college football and specifically the Buffaloes of Colorado. And not to mention, he mentored a Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter, in addition to nurturing his son, Deion Sanders, who will be a top draft pick in this year's NFL draft. He should be a top pick at quarterback. I'm sure the Giants would love to get their hands all over him. But Deion Sanders is a remarkable player. He's got another son that plays defense at Colorado. Like, Coach Prime, he can coach him up. He can hype him up. And he did a great job this year. You have to give him his credit. I did not see them going to a bowl game this year, honestly, if I'm being real. I just didn't see a way or a path where Colorado would get to a bowl game. They were playing in a new conference this year. They had a tough schedule on paper, but Deion Sanders inspired his team. He led his team to victory 9 times this year. And there were some things that I thought he could have done better last season. They only won 4 games, but again, that was an improvement from the year prior where they only won 1 game. But Deion Sanders did his work this offseason to get to a position where he is a better coach. He was a better coach this season, so you got to give him his credit for that. 9 wins is very impressive. Deion was also a winner at Jackson State as well, as his teams posted an impressive 27-6 record during the 3 seasons that he was at the helm. Now, I know people didn't like how Deion kind of bounced out of there after 3 seasons. That I felt like some people were kind of hurt that he just bounced out. He came to Jackson State and HBCU. It felt like he was trying to do something special there. And I think a lot of people kind of attached themselves to Deion Sanders and the success he was having at Jackson State. But then when he bounced out to go to the FBS level and go to Colorado, night and day different from Jackson State, I'm sure. I think some people were hurt by that, but Deion Sanders doesn't owe them anything. He didn't owe Jackson State any more of his time. And he doesn't owe Colorado any more of his time if he decides to leave either. For what he did at Jackson State, though, like I said, it was very impressive. 27-6 record during the 3 seasons that he was at the helm. People doubted that he could be a coach at the college level, and he proved that he could do the job effectively. Now his name has come up on the professional ranks to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, a team and franchise that he knows extremely well as a player, helping the Cowboys win 2 Super Bowls during his time with the team. For me, Andre Cherry, looking at this from the outside in, I don't know what else Deion Sanders can do at Colorado, especially without Travis Hunter, a Heisman Trophy winner, and his sons playing under him. I just felt like he's reached the peak of what he's going to do at Colorado, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't see Deion Sanders wanting to stick around to coach a team that just musters together 7 or 8 wins a season. I feel that's where the bar is set for Colorado. I think they'd be happy going to a bowl game each year. I think they would be thrilled to get 8 wins a season. I just feel like for Deion, he goes where the challenge is. He goes where the opportunity presents itself. And I think he's done what he can do at Colorado. You won a bunch of games this year. You went to a bowl game. You even saw a Heisman Trophy winner for the first time in a long time, in decades. You've got a Heisman Trophy winner at Colorado. I just think Deion, he just knows when it's time to go. And I think right now, it could be a perfect opportunity to go to the NFL. I thought, honestly, he would entertain a move back down to Florida and, perhaps coach Florida State. Florida State's not parting with their coach, Mike Norvell, probably because that exit salary is too high for them to part ways with Norvell. But at any rate, I just saw Deion Sanders maybe bouncing out to the ACC or maybe the SEC someday. But I think the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys could be a good opportunity for him. I know some people thought that perhaps Deion is trying to use this opening as leverage to get a fatter contract at Colorado. That could be. But honestly, I mean, what's the better job right now? I would say the Cowboys, even though you're having to coach and coach under Jerry Jones and kind of play the game, so to speak. I just feel like that's a bigger stage for Deion Sanders. He's too big of a personality to be stuck at Colorado. I feel like his personality could hopefully thrive in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? But I feel like it could be boom or bust for him on the NFL level. The one thing that I would caution Deion about is that he's not going to be able to bully the media like he does in college. Like, you're not going to be able to tell a reporter, what's going on with you? Like, I really want to get to the bottom of what's going on, but I'm not going to take your questions right now till we figure out, like, what's going on with you personally. Like, that stuff's not going to fly on the NFL level. And he used to be not a reporter, but a personality for the NFL Network. He knows how the game is played, and he knows that wouldn't be acceptable. Like, that's not going to fly, especially not in Dallas, for you to do some of these antics and some of these things to kind of control your message. Like, you're not going to be able to play those games on the NFL level. And I also wonder how he will be received by men who are playing the game at a professional level. Sure, you could probably say college is semi-pro now with NIL money floating around, but these are professional athletes, and they're not going to do the gimmick thing for too long. I mean, honestly, you have to be a man of substance, and I think there is substance behind him, but some of this stuff just seems so theatrical in nature. some of the things that he does at his press conference, and just I don't like that aspect of his style. And I feel like if he can kind of clean that up for the professional ranks, he'll probably fit in no problem at all. But I feel like when you do some of that extra stuff and you're not winning, you could become a target. And he's never coached on the NFL level before, so it would be a new ball game. And I'm not saying he can't do it, because he's proved doubters wrong every step of the way thus far. This would be another challenge for him. I feel like his window for error will be short. I know he's probably one of Jerry's guys, but I just feel like Dallas is ready. They're ready to win, especially in a division as tough as the NFC East is. They're kind of bottom dwellers of the NFC East right now, which is crazy that Washington is kind of leapfrogged them, but they're ready to win right now. So they need someone that's ready to go right now. And Deion Sanders could be that guy. But again, he's going to have to clean up some of the extra stuff and really focus on the X's and O's to the game. And I think he can run a tight locker room. Like, I feel like he has done a good job at kind of transforming that culture at Colorado. Can he come in and do the same thing on a professional level? We'll see. I'm not one to doubt Coach Prime, and I find it fairly fascinating that he's in this position after only a few years of coaching college football to be in a position now where he could be potentially the leading candidate for head coach with the Dallas Cowboys. So I would love to see where this goes, and if he was using this for leverage or if he's really trying to go to the next level with the NFL. So we'll have to wait and see, but very, very fascinating stuff out of the NFL and college football as it pertains to Coach Prime.
Want to know what life is really like after the game is all over? Real athletes are here to share their true stories of adversity and triumph every week on After Orange Slices. Even if you don't like sports, pro athletes, former college stars, celebrities, coaches, public speakers, doctors, and all kinds of experts join the show, and there's a little bit of something for everybody. Join me, Bridget, for a slice of inspiration, plus your everyday sports news sprinkled in. New episodes every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Basketball is back. And with that comes joy, tension, heartbreak, buzzer beaters, and elation. It's time to be courtside for every one of those moments, no matter where your team is playing. Short Court specializes in making replica and custom basketball courts for your home, office, sports cave to decorate your walls with all those memories. If you have a picture, we can recreate it. Featured in the 2021 UniWatch Holiday Gift Guide, Short Courts are made using real wood. We frame and give them an epoxy finish to protect the new centerpiece of your memorabilia collection. With previous customers including Northern Kentucky University, Southern Utah University, 199 Apparel, The Perimeter Podcast with Adam Morrison, and many more celebrating the careers and retirements of their coaches, it's time you visit shortcourts.com for more info and a gallery of our work, or you can send us an email, info@shortcourts.com. Be sure to find us on social media, just search for Short Courts. It's time to bring the home court home.
The biggest thing, certainly, I can't have a podcast episode without talking about the college football playoffs. We got the championship game. It's set between Notre Dame and Ohio State. That'll go down next week, I believe, next Monday. I want to say, on paper, Ohio State should win this game, but I'm rooting for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. And I don't say that often, and I probably won't say that again. But I just feel like this is a really special moment for Notre Dame. And I wouldn't say I'm a Notre Dame fan per se, but I do appreciate their football history and how important it is to the college football game. I mean, they're just as big as like a Michigan winning football, a national championship from Michigan. I felt like that meant a lot to the game to see Michigan do that last year. I feel like it would be big for the brand of Notre Dame and big for college football if Notre Dame can win this season. I did not expect that Notre Dame would be in this position, and certainly after losing to NIU earlier this year, what was that, like week 2? And I just thought all hope was lost, honestly. And Notre Dame had a tough schedule this year. Really tough schedule. They opened up at Texas A&M. I was like, yeesh, this schedule is kind of brutal on paper, but Notre Dame rebounded after that loss to NIU, And they haven't looked back since. They've blown teams out. I've been impressed by what they can do on defense. They've got a really stout defense. Their running game, Jeremiah Love, looks really impressive. Riley Leonard looks impressive as well, rushing the ball. They're a 1-2 punch in that backfield. So Notre Dame has done some really impressive things, and I thought they could be a dark horse. When I did my podcast maybe a few episodes ago, talking about some of the college football playoff teams, I thought Notre Dame had an outside shot of making it to the championship game, and well, here we are. Here we are, my friends. Notre Dame could do something really special. They're going to have their work cut out for them, though, against Ohio State. On paper, Ohio State should win that game, like I said, but anything can happen. Anything is possible. And for me, my Notre Dame story and experience really goes back to when I was in high school. Certainly growing up as a young kid outside of Chicago and Notre Dame being so big for that area, for the Midwest, particularly where I lived. I knew about Notre Dame, but then I really started paying attention to Notre Dame when I was in high school and started getting more interested in football, and I was playing high school football. And I remember when Tyrone Willingham was the coach of the Fighting Irish back in like 2002 to 2004, which is crazy. It feels like it was yesterday, but it was like so long ago. And Tyrone Willingham, his best season at Notre Dame was his first year when he went 10-3. Tyrone was the first black head coach at Notre Dame for football, and it felt like rare air. It felt like it was truly special, but then I also remember having this feeling as a kid that it felt like it was a controversial hire. Back then in 2002, Notre Dame had never had a black head coach before. Tyrone Willingham certainly had a good record up until that point, like a good coaching career, where he came from. I believe he came from Stanford. But I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that Tyrone Willingham would need to be really impressive to keep his job there, because it felt like the hiring was a little bit controversial. Felt like some people were on the other side of that, didn't really want him there. But that first year he was there, he went 10-3. He had a losing record the following season, and I think he won like 6 games his last season at Notre Dame. It just felt as if, whoa, we're never going to see this again. So enjoy the moment. And it was fun watching that team back in 2002. They're one of the best teams in college football. And it just felt like it was a special time in college football, especially around Notre Dame. And I watched more Notre Dame games than I cared to remember. But that was the one time that I was really interested in what was going on with Notre Dame football. And Notre Dame, throughout their history, their storied history, they've got 13 national championships. Ohio State has 8. Fighting Irish, though, they haven't won a national title since 1988. So, quite a long time ago. This would be good for the history and good for the brand to kind of get a new one in this new millennia. I'm just ready for something new. And I know they're blue blood. I know Ohio State's a blue blood. Buckeyes last earned their last national championship back in 2014, but I'm ready to see something different. I feel like we see Ohio State so much. They're a good brand. They're a great brand for football, but Notre Dame just feels different, and it just feels like it would be so cool to kind of have them win a national championship and just kind of refresh the history of football there. I don't want to say it's felt dormant for a time, but it just feels like when you talk about Notre Dame, it's like, oh, they were good in the past, like yesteryear. But like now, in 2025, let's see if Notre Dame can win and kind of refresh that brand a little bit. And Marcus Freeman, he's one of the hottest coaches right now, a hot young coach. He's impressed me. I'm not going to lie, the guy has impressed me. I didn't think that he would be long for the job, but if he can win this job or win this game, I feel like he writes his own ticket in South Bend. And you got to factor in, too, Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame a few seasons ago to LSU. He hasn't been doing that good of a job at LSU. Like, he may be out of a job after this season. But Marcus Freeman, he came in, inherited a team. He's built it into what he wants it to be. And he's a winner. For real, he is a winner. And if he can win this game against Ohio State next Monday, I think he writes his own path. If he wants to continue coaching on the college level, he certainly can do that. I'm hearing talks that the NFL may want to tap him in, which might be good down the road here, but I just feel like his destiny, he's like in firm control of where he wants to go. And I feel like all you need to do is just win this game, and you can punch your own ticket anywhere you want to be in college football or hopefully someday the NFL. The Chicago Bears, I'm hearing, would love to talk to him. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game next week. I mean, Ohio State's pass rush has been gang-busting offenses all year. I saw something that the Buckeyes have generated a 45.3% pressure rate on opposing dropbacks, which ranks third in the power conferences. And I believe that was third behind, I want to say, like Indiana and maybe LSU. Their actual sack rate of 10% leads everybody. Ohio State's defense has been quite impressive this postseason. Offensively for Notre Dame, though, like I said, Riley Leonard at quarterback, Jeremiah Love at running back. They're a dynamic duo in the backfield. They're a strong 1-2 punch. I think they'll have their work cut out for them if they expect to expose Ohio State's stout defensive line, though. Like, the advantage is definitely on Ohio State's side, but Notre Dame has been impressive this year, especially in the postseason. So if they can replicate some of that success and expose Ohio State's defense in certain areas, I mean, they've got a good shot of winning it. But I just feel like Ohio State they've been so dominant this postseason. Like, I feel like they went through the regular season, they did what they needed to do just to get to the playoffs, and now they just turned it on and turned it up to a notch that nobody has been able to touch yet. And if Notre Dame expects to win this weekend, or next week rather, they're going to have to really play their best game, offense and defense. And it's tough, though, because Notre Dame, they got banged up against Penn State last week. I saw Coach Freeman said that I think left tackle Anthony Knapp, he'll be out due to a high ankle sprain. I think he said he expects Rocco Spindler, who has an ankle injury, and sophomore running back Jeremiah Love, who I just mentioned, who's battling some knee pain, to be available to play. And then I think wide receiver Bo Collins should be available this week. So, like, there's a lot of injuries, a lot of people kind of banged up. That's a tough loss to have left tackle out due to the high ankle sprain. I know that's really painful to play with. But, I mean, crazier things have been known to happen, and I'm not saying Notre Dame can't win, but it would be great for college football if Notre Dame can beat Ohio State. Like, I'm tired of seeing Ohio State win all the time. And I know Ohio State technically hasn't won a title since 2014, so quite a little while ago, but I just feel like Ohio State is it's always Ohio State. Like, even when they're not in it, Ohio State's always lurking around. And this would be a great win for Ohio State and Ryan Day, who, I think he's trying to earn some of the fans' favor if he can win a national title and kind of quiet some of his haters. But Ohio State's been good. They always are good. Notre Dame, I feel like it's tougher. It's tough for them. And they're not in a conference at all. They're adjacent to the ACC. And I know a lot of people are up in arms about that. Like, how are they in the playoffs and they don't even belong to a conference? Honestly, in my opinion, I think that makes it more special. If they're able to run the table here, beat Ohio State, that's impressive that Notre Dame was able to do this and not belong to any conference. Like, I'm so anti-conference, especially in this day of age of super conferences, where I just feel like schools are hopping to conferences just to get a payday or whatever the case may be. Like, I feel like we've just disintegrated the lines of like these regional rivalries and like some of the things that make college football special. It's all gone away. It feels so corporate now. And the fact that Notre Dame has remained independent all this time, I don't know if they ever will go to a conference. I certainly feel like if they win a national title, they don't necessarily need to, because they've accomplished what they wanted to accomplish without having to join a conference. They can collect all of their money and revenue for themselves. Like, I'm all for them being independent, and I think it'd be really cool if Notre Dame can shock the world, beat the Big Ten, win a national title, and remain independent at the end of the day. Like that, I think that's so cool, and I wish them luck. I hope they can win. And like I said, it's really rare for me to say that because I'm a huge NC State fan, but hey, I like Marcus Freeman, and I hope that he can do yeoman's work next week and help his team win a national title. I think it would be really special for the game and really special as a black head coach at Notre Dame. Like, only the second guy to do it. I can't wait to see them try to win next week against Ohio State. So good luck to Coach Freeman and Notre Dame. And before I wrap out of here, I just wanted to shout out real quick North Central College. They're a D3 school from Naperville, Illinois. That's a town that I grew up in. Young CherryPickin back in the day. Went to elementary school, junior high, high school. Like, Naperville holds a special place in my heart. That program holds a special place in my heart. Even though I didn't go there, I've said it on podcasts before, their head coach, Brad Spencer, who I believe was like a coordinator back when I was playing football in high school, they had recruited me and several of my other teammates out to a visit to North Central. I remember spending time with Brad Spencer in his office, just one-on-one, and he was trying to recruit me to North Central College. And as a kid who grew up in Naperville, and any kid probably, I mean, it's not just my experience, but I'm sure if you grew up in a town your whole life or much of your life and you're ready to go to college and you're ready to do the next big thing, you don't want to stay home. Or at least that was my experience. Like, North Central College is a fantastic school. My mom graduated from there, but like, I just did not have it in my heart or in my soul to stay home in Naperville to play college football and to be stuck, and I do that with air quotes, stuck in Naperville. I was ready to go, and I went to a different school. I went to Illinois State University, but looking back on it, it's like, man, I really wanted to play college football. Brad Spencer, North Central College, wanted me to play football at North Central College. Like, I could have lived out a dream of playing college football, and I could have stayed home and, you know, done the whole college experience, small town experience. And I say it's small town because it's like a small little community, North Central. It's a D3 school. I just couldn't bear to stay home. And North Central wasn't good like they are now, honestly. I mean, if North Central College was a powerhouse like they are now, back when I was playing football, one, I'm not even sure that they would even want to recruit me to that school. Like, it seems like they got some stud athletes there. I don't even know where I would fit in on the team, if I would even make the team. I feel like it would be a different conversation if Brad Spencer was recruiting me back then and North Central was playing as well as they are now. I mean, that's a small little dynasty they got right now. They finished their season going undefeated at 15-0 overall for the second time in the past 3 seasons. And they've won, what is it, their third title? Their third title in 5 seasons. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. I would be so lucky if I had the opportunity to play at North Central College on a team as talented as this one, with a coach as talented as Brad Spencer is. It's amazing to see. And I enjoy watching North Central College play in the championship game. I feel like these past 5 seasons, almost every holiday season. Like, it's a little holiday tradition for me to watch North Central College play football during the holiday season. Like, after Christmas and then after the New Year, I get to watch North Central College, a team that was in my backyard. They're playing on a national stage. They're playing on ESPN. That's insane. That sells itself to any kid that wants to play football. Yo, you got a good school at North Central College. You may get better exposure at that school than you would at, you know, maybe in Illinois State or wherever you may be, you know, maybe in the MAC or wherever. Like, North Central College has the blueprint. Brad Spencer is right now the best coach in Chicago. Honestly. I mean, for what he's been doing there, that's impressive. It doesn't matter what level of football. If you want to play football, there's a spot for you in Naperville at North Central College. And that's the message that I'm sure they're saying. But it's there's a different culture there now. I mean, it's impressive. And I just remember Brad trying to sell me on staying home and playing for North Central College. You could tell he was so passionate about what he was doing and what they were trying to do there. But I just, like I said, that place in my life, I was 18. I just wasn't honestly entertaining it. Like, I just honestly didn't see a way for me to go there. But I'm impressed by what Brad Spencer has done. And there's a quote here. This is from Fox 32 out in Chicago. And this quote from Brad Spencer: "I'm extremely humbled and proud to be in this position," said North Central College head coach Brad Spencer in a statement. "These seniors, there are 38 of them, have believed in our culture and what we were trying to become. That took a lot of trust and belief, and they went to work. As coaches, we just put good plans in place and put them in a position to succeed," end quote. So that's remarkable stuff. And like he said, it took a lot of trust and belief. And I appreciate everything that he has done for that community, for that school. He's been there quite a while. And I wish I could have been a part of it. Looking back, I'm like, man, this seems so special. So I didn't go there. I don't have any ties outside of my mom who went to North Central College. But I'm very proud of what Coach Spencer has done there. And I wish him luck moving forward. I hope they can continue everything, all that success that they're having. I hope it's a blueprint for the future for them. And I hope they can continue to build and win and grow. But I'm telling you, man, they play some amazing football. Some of their stud athletes, quarterback Luke Lennon, he was voted the most outstanding player in the championship game. This dude is a beast. He accounted for 5 of the team's 6 touchdowns. He had 18 to 26 passes for 298 yards. This is insane. He ran 55 yards for another touchdown. Like this, I don't think I could play football at North Central College at this level. They look like a D1 school. It's insane. They amassed 495 yards of total offense in that championship game. That's insane, man. And they played Mount Union, a team that knows how to win. They blew out Mount Union 41 to 25. And Mount Union is no slouch. It just goes to show you the good work that's happening down there in Naperville. And again, I'm really proud of Naperville, of North Central and Brad Spencer, and I hope they can continue that on in the future. Well, there we have it, my friends. That was my shorty. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the topics going on right now in college football. Deion Sanders going to the NFL. We got the big championship game this next week for the college football playoff. North Central College, what's up? And I'm looking forward to season 8 of the CherryPickin podcast. If you listen to this show, I truly appreciate you downloading episodes. I do this mainly as a creative outlet for myself. I work a professional life outside of this. I have a career outside of this podcast. But college football and being in media, it was always part of my dream growing up. I always wanted to be around the game. I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be a media personality. And I feel like this podcast gives me a little outlet to do that. I get fulfillment out of the whole process of researching, editing this podcast, releasing this podcast, promoting this podcast. Some people are at different levels. Some people pop, while some people just do it for the love of the game. And I do this for the love of the game, honestly. I truly enjoy podcasting. I truly enjoy talking to an audience. And if you downloaded this podcast, I appreciate you. And I hope to continue to do this for season 8, which is crazy that it's 8 seasons of this podcast. I've been doing CherryPickin for a lot longer than that, though. When I was, say, a kid, I think I was in college, maybe even before that. I was just always predicting games. It just kept me interested in football, predicting winners and losers. And it wasn't really to bet anything. I wasn't trying to bet actual money. And I'm still not trying to bet money. I just like to do it to stay interested and stay glued in on the games. And that's how this started. And I've enjoyed the support I've gotten from friends that have been on the show and people that listen. And it just, it means a lot to me. And I just want to say thank you for listening to this podcast episode. For season 8, maybe I try to hit up some actual games next season in person. So we got Temple versus Oklahoma at the Link next September 13th. Then NC State is in Pittsburgh playing Pitt at some point next season. And then they also travel to Notre Dame in South Bend. So that could be kind of cool. Maybe road trip. And then we got the Army-Navy game at M&T Bank Stadium where the Ravens play next year as well. So there's a few opportunities. There's a few games that really have my attention, at least on the local level. So who knows? Maybe I'll take the show on the road. Maybe I'll play around with YouTube and post podcasts on that website. I'm really open to ideas and suggestions, and really just looking forward to hopefully making this show bigger and better this year, and hopefully can grow the audience. And, you know, stranger things have been known to happen, but I would love to blow this brand out even bigger and better next season. So I say all that to just say thank you for downloading this episode. I appreciate the support and the follows, and I look forward to talking to you all again next season. So take care, everybody. Enjoy the college football championship game this next week, and just take care of each other, love one another, and hopefully I'll be back here to talk to you fairly soon for season 8 of the Cherry Pickin' Podcast. But with that, again, I want to say thank you. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace. 7 seasons of the Cherry Pickin' Podcast. We just keep on rolling, baby. We keep on rolling. Thank you again for tuning in to my Cherry Pickin' Podcast. All of my audio content can be found on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Please feel free to give me a rating if you enjoy listening to my content. If you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Feel free to drop me a line regarding what you like about this podcast or what you'd like to hear more of this college football season. I hope you enjoy this series, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Take care.